never dreamt that I'll become what I am today. I've always believed that one day I'll be what I am today.
I think we can't talk about prolific life of Brenda Fassie without touching on the unapologetic nature that she had.
We've heard it all before. Believe in yourself.
Yes.
But hers was the first option is for me to believe in myself.
Yeah.
She owned it entirely. And I think it was actually at a time where, as a people, we really needed an image and a symbol of that because we had experienced so much systematically that was quite the opposite. So we needed a figure that would represent what that is.
Yes.
She was so one with us. She did not elevate herself. And so it was easy for us to make her that symbol because, she was just so much of us.
Community definitely has a huge impact on the journey of an artist. And we see it so beautifully in Sis Brenda's work, in the hits and even in the songs that are just expressions of real lived experiences that she's had.
I know there was a time when I was watching all the Brenda documentaries. There was one scene after she was speaking about her marriage and everything, and then I think the interviewer asked her something about how did you feel about that? And then she just looks down and she's like, but there's something I saw in her eyes. I saw the same fear and uncertainty that I see in myself. But I guess maybe she used the music as a canvas to build that confidence. Because as much as she was so confident, I do believe there was probably a part of her that was scared because she was doing something that no one was doing.
I think because we live now and we're experiencing the amount of freedom that we're experiencing, I don't think we're ever going to fully grasp just the amount of bravery as well that it took to be singing about what she was singing about at the time she was, and still be present.
She was such a visionary. There's very little Brenda said in her interviews or in her songs that wasn't the truth. She was a straight up queen. I'm not gonna beat around the bush.
Be straight.
Be straight. I didn't rule. I phony rule.
I've always wanted to go to Johannesburg, to Soweto. And finally, I put a thumb when I went. Sometimes I'm not aware of how much of a superstar I am. So people say, because I don't monopolize on that. And I don't like to live another life because I ain't a superstar. I'm just a person that's entertaining everybody that's famous and unfortunate. And sometimes people wonder when I go maybe to stock fairs and dance on top of the table. Oh, hola, And they wonder, ooh, they don't expect Brenda Fassie. No, unfortunately, Brenda, the person, is there. They get very surprised. That's how I am. I don't know how to explain this person, Shem, Brenda. I love Brenda. I love you, I love you, I love you, Brenda. I love Brenda first.
I love Brenda first.
I love Brenda too.
She has such swag, such aura. She gives me that confidence that makes me want to be how we all greet when we greet our music lovers. I want to just be like, sanibona intoka zasemgungundlovu umzukulwane omthandayo into zakhona mfethu. She just had that thing. So indaba yakhe, Be Straight. Are there certain things that you guys do that are a practice of confidence for you, where you draw inspiration in the same way that she was able to be around abantu baseSoweto and have these songs come from those spaces? What is that for you guys?
My confidence in creation or in making is when I stop worrying. If it's a song that I'm writing and I'm worried about, does this verse 1 speak to verse 2, to the bridge? But I can't seem to move past that in a healthy way, where I'm I keep thinking I need to add more. I keep thinking I need to remove, but I can't bring myself to it. The moment I stop, that's when I'm okay.
With me, it's a bit different. When I'm in the studio making songs, I'm so clinical about it. And I think that's how I'd link it to Indaba Yami Straight, because I focus on a very clinical, almost formulaic approach, which I'm trying to let go of now because I just want to relax in what I do, I'm really good at it. Why do I stress so much?
I think for me, what's most inspiring was the level of vulnerability that she had.
Yes.
And I think that's what I try to put out in my music is truth and to be as honest as possible regardless of how scary it might be, because sometimes living in your truth frees you. like she was there in every single way, you know, to say that, like, my husband said he was too pretty, so I said goodbye to you, you know, or come into my bedroom and sit with me with my girls, you know, and to understand that kind of like expression of sexuality in a time where there was a lot of suppression of the LGBTQI community, and so to see her kissing a girl in a club or sitting with those ladies was really like the little boy in me who was like, I feel a little bit different. I was like, okay, I kind of like that about this lady, you know what I mean? Also because the whole family loves her. She really was an intergenerational artist.
She was.
And was able to still maintain that truth regardless of the adoration, because sometimes we feel a pressure to mute ourselves in order to be palatable to the audience or to the listener. I think the fearlessness that lived in her bearing her truth was really inspiring for me.
It was so uncurated. You know, there was no version of herself that was left out the room. All of the parts of who she was were left in the room.
We saw everything. We didn't want to see the good things.
Us being in her bedroom, like showing us her in her wedding dress, like that's such an intimate moment to share with people. And she was like, yeah, well, I'm a star. They want to know. Like real. I think it's so cool that she was like one of the first artists to do that before people were even doing that. Like especially here in South Africa, she was vlogging.
Queen.
My queen was vlogging for us.
She's wearing
Like,
the time.
I love that.
I feel like someone like that understands as well that like their legacy is gonna live long beyond them. And someone who really understands that they're that girl, she was like, nah, I actually have to document this because there's gonna come a new generation of people who are gonna watch this. Like myself, like I'm not born during that era, but I love Brenda Fassie. You know, you have a Tyler who just said she's influenced by Brenda Fassie type thing. Like her legacy is gonna live on forever.
I see a lot of what she did then that's become sort of like the fabric of who we are now. And I wonder what her looking at us or looking at, you know, the youth would have been like, especially maybe the queer community, what it is that should be proud of us right now.
True. The ownership of ourselves, you know, the fact that she owned herself so much.
She really did.
That she's given us the bravery to follow suit in owning our own stories and owning who we are, the communities we come from, the values we have, the people we love.
I would have loved to see that lady experience who it is that we are right now, because all of a sudden the exception has turned into the rule.
The rule, yes.
Basically all these things that she was modeling and her being one of a few now is really it's a status quo. It's what we all can be if we choose to be, and we all can be in different kinds of ways. Even how that shows up can be quite colorful. So it would have been so beautiful to see her really just take that in and know that she was such an important part of that domino effect of who it is that we are and what we get to be. You know. And also, I mean, being African, being queer, these are all identities that are such a big part of transforming society, you know, of building culture, of making culture. And I think should be proud to see the different ways that we're able to do that. How we're able to evolve culture in real time and tell stories that are reminiscent of what she shared, but that build it into other reimaginings, you know. She really healed the African and the queer child's imagination.
I think so.
And societies are built by imagination. And she helped to heal that in such an organic and unperformative way. Simply by existing. They were like, actually, yeah, man.
One thing we haven't touched on. We're speaking about this icon, we're speaking about the, you know, how political she was, how fierce she was. But we're not talking about the bops.
What are your bops?
Yes, let's get into it.
Obviously, Vulindlela.
Yes.
It's like deep cut.
I love the bass.
Yeah.
There's no
Yes.
She went gospel. I loved when she was like the very vulnerable songs. You know, 10 kilometers.
I love to know that there's this that we're having here. Being here with all of us together makes me feel like I'm a part of something. So that's actually my confidence, you know.
Like the story of South African music doesn't continue without Brenda Fassie.
Absolutely.
Man, salute to the queen.
For real.
This is me. Take me the way I am, Mafethu. Mfethu mina ngiyaphila, ngiphila kayi-one and ngiyaziphilela emhlabeni. I don't know what can happen after this moment. I don't know what can happen tomorrow to me. So I do anything now because you never know what tomorrow brings.